everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's time for my monthly rundown of the latest perfume releases. This December there haven't been that many because brands tend to release them well in advance of Christmas, but I do have 6 new releases to take you through. If you're new here, then hello and welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds of videos just like this going through new releases, perfume notes, whole ranges, so do check them out. And if you're a regular, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me. And down below in the description box, I'll put a link to where you can get all the perfumes I talk about in this video, where they're available all around the world. Of course, along with the link to my website, which has detailed articles on whole ranges, including all the ones we're talking about here. And of course, where you can get my perfumes, Empress, Aphrodite, and my super concentrated Soy Wax candles. Cool, so I think I'm gonna start with the new release from Kayali Fragrances, which is part of Huda Beauty. This is the new Eden Sparkling Lychee. Now we've had so many new releases from Kayali this year. They did a new pistachio one in about March, a pistachio gelato. We had 2 wedding fragrances for him and her. Then there was 4 oud perfumes, and now we have Eden Sparkling Lychee. And this is like the sister fragrance of their previous Eden Juicy Apple, and it definitely has a lot in common with that fragrance. It is a light, fruity floral, quite sweet and quite fun fragrance, just like the Juicy Apple one is, and it definitely smells similar. I think if you have Juicy Apple, you probably don't need this as well. I'd say that the Lychee is a little bit less fruity than the apple is, and I do get some like jasmine, some floral notes coming through under the Lychee, but it definitely feels like sugary sweet. It's like a lychee flavored sweet shop type smell, but in a sugary, like a white sugar way, not in a vanilla way. I know that she's used a lot of different vanilla ones in other Kayali fragrances, and deeper notes and ambery notes, whereas this Eden Sparkling Lychee and the Eden Sparkling Apple are definitely different and don't have any of those deeper, darker notes. So therefore I kind of feel like this is more of a spring summer fragrance, though you could use it to layer on top of other fragrances to lift them and make them lighter and sweeter. I've been layering this with my Empress perfume, which really helps bring out the strawberry top note and adds like a light sweetness to it. So I do like it. It does remind me a little bit of Britney Spears' Midnight Fantasy, just as Eden did as well. But I think it's very different to what we're used to from a lot of the Kayali fragrances. So it's kind of almost appealing to a different audience. I do think if you like your sweet fruity florals, then you will like this. The lasting power is okay, but because it doesn't have any of those deeper, heavier notes, it's not as strong as a lot of her other fragrances, and it is an eau de parfum, whereas many of the others are eau de parfums intense. Next up, we have another sweet fragrance actually from Valentino. This is a limited edition in their Donna Born in Roma range, and it's called Rendezvous Pink PP, named after, I believe, the creative director of Valentino, who invented this particular shade of pink that we see here, which has become very associated with Valentino. Of course, this year has been the year of the Barbie movie, and I've noticed a lot of Valentino adverts where they have these really like monochrome pink outfits, like a suit in this color, and yeah, this is to celebrate that. So the Born in Roma perfumes, the original is a blackcurrant, jasmine, vanilla. There's an intense version which is more ambery. Now this one is quite different. This is an orange blossom and vanilla, so we don't have any of the jasmine that we know from a lot of the other versions of Born in Roma, and it doesn't have a fruity top note. It goes straight into a sweet orange blossom. I found this really quite sweet. It's definitely a gourmand fragrance, and it doesn't have the playfulness of something like Sparkling Lychee. Instead, it's deep, it's more wintry. It reminds me a bit of Parfum de Marly Oriana, and it actually reminds me a bit as well of Dolce & Gabbana Devotion, but that one is like a candied orange and vanilla, whereas this is the orange blossom and vanilla. And even though orange blossom is typically quite a light, fresh note, when it's mixed with vanilla, it really does have like a bit of a darker side, which is definitely what I get in this. So I do think this is got that gourmand Christmassy feel. It's definitely not necessarily something you'll love if you like the original Born in Roma. It's totally different. But if you do like a sweeter vanilla-y perfume, then this might be one for you. Next we have a new one from Tocca, which is called Lucia or Lucia, and this is actually a really unusual fragrance. Tocca is a niche perfume brand, and a lot of their fragrances are quite light, pretty florals like lilacs, roses. This one is, to me, actually leaning towards more of a unisex fragrance. So this celebrates all things fig, and it has a fig fruit note in it, but actually what you get more than that is a fig leaf. So it's very, very green, and it has notes of the sea, and that fig leaf is kind of giving me that seaweed, the wood of like wood in the sea, sort of being on the coast in like the south of England, you know, North France coast, with like that really breezy sea air that's really like bracing, and you can smell all the vegetation that lives around the sea. That's what this smells like to me. Fig leaf almost has the smell of ivy, so if you have ivy growing in your garden, wherever, kind of is that kind of smell. And there was a limited edition version of Bulgaria Omnia, which was named after an artist, Mary, then the very long last name, and it had a multicolored bottle, and that was also a fig leaf perfume, and this reminds me of that. Very unusual, very different if you're looking for something like that no one else has. And because it's green and got these oceanic notes in, I personally think that that's a very gender neutral scent. Even though they tend to be marketed as a female fragrance, they have this whole like Tocca Girls campaign. I think they're actually missing a trick here, because this definitely feels unisex to me, and if you're a man and you like your marine scents, I think you'll like this. Lasting power is pretty good compared to a lot of the other Tocca perfumes. It's an eau de parfum, and because it has those more heavier, intense notes in that fig leaf, finding that it is lasting pretty well. So we then have 3 new fragrances from L'Occitane and Provence. First of all, their Noble Epine, which means like noble thorn. This is a really pretty, feminine, light, floral, kind of a bit like their cherry blossom fragrance. Very sort of everyday, clean, easygoing. If you're looking for something for a gift, I think this is probably a safe blind buy for a lady. They then have this green one called Valentino, and this one, as you'd expect from the green coloring, is very green and aromatic, sagey, lavendery. It feels like you're in a field where they're growing herbal things in the south of France. Very L'Occitane. It feels very unisex as well. Very clean, outdoorsy, green vibes. And then lastly, we have this one called Melilo, which is really quite unusual. So this one actually has like a bran note in it. So it's very cozy and warm. It's like walking through a field where they're growing corn or, I don't know, wheat, like a wheaty smell, like a bran flake cereal smell almost. Very comforting, calming. It doesn't really smell like a perfume to me. It just smells like something very cozy. I could see this in a body lotion. I think in fact they do these in sets with body lotions. And I think this would be something unusual that you could layer with fragrances to make them a bit more wintry and cozy. The closest thing I can really liken it to is Givenchy's L'Interdit Intense, that has a sesame seed note in, and that gives me that same bran cozy vibe. Very unusual, not really smelled anything like that, and I really enjoyed trying these 3 because the pink one is like classic feminine L'Occitane, the Valentino is kind of classic green unisex L'Occitane, and then this one was just totally left field, very unique. So they were a cute little collection to try. I do have videos dedicated to all of these where I go into more detail on the fragrances and the other fragrances in their ranges, so do check them out for more information. And like I said, I'll link down below where you can get all of these all around the world where they're sold, though because they're new, they're not available everywhere just yet. But that's it, guys. So let me know what your favorites are from this month's new releases. And I know there are loads of new releases coming out in the new year. Let me just refer to my list here. I have been keeping note of all the things I'm going to order in the new year when they're available. So there's a green version of Valentino coming out. We've got 3 new limited edition Marc Jacobs daisies called Daisy Pop, and another one called Daisy Wild. There's a new Sol de Janeiro body mist. There's an Absolute new version of Guerlain's Le Petit Robe Noir. There's a new version of Givenchy Irresistible. There's a new version of YSL Black Opium, which has got cherry in. Really looking forward to trying that. There's Billie Eilish's third perfume. And that's just what I know about now. So give it a few weeks and there'll probably be 3 times more that have been announced. So yeah, lots to look forward to next year. And of course, next year I will be launching my third perfume, which I will tell you more about in the coming months. But yeah, that's it guys. Thanks so much for watching as always. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.